a road through Bironico to Germany. The engine of my car hummed steadily as I navigated the narrow, winding roads through Bironico, the Swiss village cradled by towering mountain ranges. It was early morning, and the mist still clung to the valley like a soft blanket, the hills barely visible through the haze. I had been on the road since dawn, heading north towards Germany, and I knew the journey ahead would take hours. But there was something about passing through this quiet corner of Switzerland that always made the trip feel like a pilgrimage. The road curved sharply, taking me past the stone buildings of the village, their centuries-old walls a reminder of how little time had touched this place. It felt timeless here. I slowed down, giving the village its due attention. Bironico had always felt like a bridge between two worlds. On one side, the serene Swiss countryside with its history steeped in tradition, and on the other, the vast highways leading into Europe's beating heart. The sound of my tires on the asphalt was the only interruption to the soft chorus of birds and the distant rush of mountain streams. As I drove out of the village, the landscape opened up. To my left, I could see the sprawling vineyards that clung to the hillsides. They rose neat and orderly. To my right, a dense forest of pine and beech trees began to give way to the rolling hills that stretched toward the horizon. The further I drove, the more distant the mountains became, replaced by the flat expanse of the Swiss plains leading to the border. A few kilometers on, the familiar border signs appeared, signaling that I was nearing Germany. The shift between countries was always subtle, but today it felt particularly striking. I was so used to the smooth transitions between European nations, the quiet crossing of invisible lines. There was no grand welcome or farewells, only a small customs booth where a board officer waved me through with a gesture. That seemed more like a formality than a security check. The road into Germany was already waiting, and I sped through it like a traveler crossing a threshold. In the rearview mirror, Bironico already seemed distant, a tiny speck in the landscape of my journey. But the feeling it left lingered, the peace of its quiet streets, the morning fog that had risen with the sun, and the timeless sense of home that I always felt driving through. Now, as the roads flattened out into the German countryside, I couldn't help but think that every journey begins with a moment of stillness. A moment where time feels suspended and the world ahead is simply a promise. And Bironico, in its serene beauty, had given me that moment. The hum of the engine, the steady rhythm of the road, and the horizon stretching out ahead, everything felt open now. Germany was only a few kilometers away, but with its quiet roads and gentle hills, would remain a small but important part of this journey. Long after the borders had passed,